Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I am continuing with One Piece. I am today going to read volume 4, 5 and 6. I did just read 1, 2 and 3, or not just. It's like in the end of July. So I'm continuing with the journey. I feel like I need to at least read this because it seems like the show, which I want to watch, covers parts of this arc. I don't know how long time it would take us to wrap up the story we're in the last time, so I need to read this so that I am covered for the show, you know. And also obviously I want to continue. I am very excited. I want to try to just keep reading them, like at least 1 or 2 a month. Maybe we shall see. Yeah, just very excited. We were in an island and they are gonna go to kill the lady in the mansion. The butler was a pirate all along. That's what's happening. So I don't know what else to say. Let's start volume 4, The Black Pirates, and chapter 27, True Lies. Okay, so basically Usopp went to Kaya to tell her that the pirates are coming to kill her and that her butler is like evil pirate dude. And she doesn't believe him because he always told lies and stories, just like the villagers didn't believe him in the last chapter. And then he just realizes that no one believes him because of that he always runs around yelling wolf wolf, which is quite sad in a way as well. And then he fought with some of like, I guess, guards, I guess poets. And then some small kids that followed me around, he told them he was just lying to them so they would go home. And now Luffy is saying that they will help him. We shall see how they will help. But yeah, chapter 28, Crescent Moon. I don't have more to say than that. Okay, so the 3 of them are gonna keep the pirate back at this beach that Usopp assumed they're gonna arrive at. And then they're on the wrong beach. They prepared the whole like pitfall they were going to fall in and everything, so they need to run over to the town to protect them there. But we also knew that they were going to the town, they said so, but I think Usopp missed it or whatever, or maybe I just am imagining that they said so. But before that it was a bit funny because he asked them what Nami, Zoro and Luffy could do, and they were like, I can't, I stretch, I steal. It was funny. And then he was like, I will run and hide. Either way, we saw for a moment the dude that I assume we're gonna fight soon, which is 1, 2 Django, the acting captain of the Black Cat Pirates. I think they should be them more cat-like, but that's just me. And then when they're gonna run over the village, Nami gets really fire fast, but it sounds boring. She wants to run fast because she thinks they're going to steal her treasure. It is really slippery, the hill they were standing in. I think maybe it was because the pirates were supposed to fall there, or maybe it was just slippery, but either way. So she uses Zoro to like, I was going to say, get a boost up the hill, and now he can't get up the hill. So we just see when he arrives to the fight. It's probably a bit later. That's basically what happened. We're gonna run to a town. Luffy is already there, and now it's chapter 29, uphill battle. I don't know, that was such a good moment, and it was just a tiny moment as well, but I just love it. Okay, so they found Nami's trash and just gonna take it, but Usopp was there at the, like, I was gonna say hill of the other beach before anyone else for some reason. And then he's like lying to them to like stall them. He's like, you can take the treasure if you leave, etc, etc. But they don't, obviously, and they attack, and Nami arrives. Nami and Usopp tries to fight them off, but it's not going that well. They're not really fighters. They throw some stars at them, and then they're gonna run off, but they has thrown like stars behind them as well. And Luffy has been running straight north the whole time. He doesn't actually know which way north is, so he was just running into a wall. While Zoro finally got himself off that hill. So right when they're gonna like take the village, or like go into the village, they show up, and it's just like standing at the top of the hill being like super badass. And they start with, Nami, you maroon me in that muck, and he's angry. And then Luffy is, darn you Usopp, why didn't you tell me which way was north? And they just like look really cool, like they literally flung all the pirates back right before that because they're badass. So I think that this is gonna go fine. I think that, I'm just saying it, and they're like, I love them so much already. okay, chapter 30, Backfire. This is the chapter you realize that Luffy is an idiot, but you still love him. Either way, what happened is that the hypnotist dude, I don't remember his name, he is the 1, 2 Django, he can hypnotize people. So he hypnotized his crew to like go double as strong, all their wounds are healed, etc. So they're gonna go and attack them. But when he did this, he accidentally hypnotized Luffy as well, because he just is very easily hypnotized. hypnotized. So now we know his weakness. So he attacked him with like super many stretchy gum arms, like super fast, and like basically lifts off like, not the, I don't remember what that part of the ship is called, but he lifts off like the huge cat that is on their ship, like in the front. And like basically he's gonna attack them, but then Django hypnotize him to fall asleep, so he's like has the big cat thing on top of him, so he's just lying there asleep. And yeah, Nami and Usopp are like, is he okay? And Zoro's like, yeah, he's fine. He's so stupid. Either way, at the same time, we see the butler, the captain, the real captain, go out because they are late. And then one of the kids that followed Usopp around saw him leave for the beach. So it seems like maybe they will find out the truth now. The next chapter is literally called, chapter 31 is called Truth. So there's that. But I need to eat and stuff, so I'll continue a bit later in the day. Okay, so I now continued, and I'm on chapter 31, Truth. I don't remember if I said. So it starts off with Lady Kaya waking up, and she sees one of her sons dead because the captain dude killed him, and then he has gone off. Now she realizes that everything Usopp said was true, obviously, and like panics. Then we switch over to Zolo and them. And then two of the guards on the ship, because they had more people on the ship, come out. And then one of them starts to fight Zolo and takes two of his swords. And he's like, oh, he took my swords. And then the chapter ends. Basically, that's what's happened. Very good summarization. But yeah, I'm gonna continue with chapter 32, Crew of Fortune. Okay, so Zoro starts fighting the two shipmates. And he had taken his swords and then like throws them away, and Zoro gets very mad and like attacks him, and I think he like cut through his stomach. Turns out there was no stomach underneath the shirt, it was only shirt. So they're fighting, and then he's not good with the one sword apparently. So he's finding the two of them with only the one sword, but he's struggling, like losing ground. And then Nami's gonna go and retrieve the swords for him, but it's stopped because the captain has showed up, and it's like, you're all late. He's not happy. And yeah, that's it. I love that these very fun updates, but I feel like, or else I will lose overview of what's happened. Zoro is my baby, but he needs to be able to fight one sword, dude. You can't just be too overpowered and then not be able to fight with less power. I'm joking. But yeah, Captain is not happy, so we should see how that turns out. Next chapter is the creeping cat. This chapter just reminds me that they're literally like kids and fighting like evil old killers, and it stresses me out because I'm worried about them because they're just doing their best. I'm not saying they're not good, I'm just like, they're inexperienced is the word. But either way, Captain Kuro come up and they are just like, haha, you're weak now because you've been living in the mansion, the two like mates, brothers, whatever they were, and they do mutiny almost. And then he has like this special move, so he just turns up back behind them and basically almost kills them. He has like Wolverine hands, like long claws, because cat ship. And then he says that you have 5 minutes to fix this up. And then they're like, oh, we can kill Zoro in 5 minutes. But then Nami throws him in swords and he manages to like beat them. But one of them survived his like attack and now get hypnotized to think he has superpowers and is gonna attack them again. But they were very shocked of Zoro's skills when he got his 3 swords though. But then Nami at the same time is running over to Luffy to wake him up, who is still asleep. Useless. So we shall see if she manages to do that. They are trying to stop her, so we shall see. And then yeah, it's chapter 34, A Humble Servant. Now I am humbling myself. I am worried for them, but I think it will be fine. Okay, so Luffy is now awake and he's really not happy about it at first, and he's hit by like a chakram in his head. He's literally bleeding. And then he just pulled it away and it was fine. So he could just survive stabbing. But we know he survived bullets. Well, he's made of rubber. But he bled. I'm confused. Either way. Then Kaya shows up and is like, how dare you betray us? La 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 la. I will give you my treasure if you leave. To Captain Kuro. And Kuro's like, no, I want to stay here. I want to be at peace. And that's why you need to be attacked. And the village needs to be attacked. And then she has a gun. But then she starts crying and like loses it because he just says that he like gone through all of this and it's humiliating for him to like have, what's it called, groveled for this girl. And then she starts crying, as I said, and then Luffy hits him with his gum arm, obviously. He's like, if you don't like that, I would do it more. And then the chapter ended. So yeah. But yeah, he had this evil villain speech, basically. Chapter 35, The Steep Slope. Okay, so now volume 4 is over, and it ended with Captain Kuro is going to fight Luffy, and then one of like the hypnotist dude is gonna go after Kaya and make her like sign the will, not sign the will, write a will, you know, he can hypnotize people. And then Zoro's like, no, you should not pass behind this line. But one of the other people that he fought earlier, the people on the ship, stopped him. And then Usopp, who's lying on the ground really hurt, is ordering his little 3 crewmates that came and arrived at the scene to get Kaya to safety. So they are leaving, and then the hypnotist dude is going after them, while Zoro is fighting one of the crew members. So there's different fights and stuff going on. Yeah, as I said, Volume 4 is over, and now it's Volume 5, from whom the bell tolls. So yeah, I assume you have a big Zoro fight and then a big Luffy fight with Kuro after that, or yeah. So kind of the same as with Buggy the Clown. Maybe we shall see if they follow like the same format. Maybe I will be surprised. We shall see. Let's go to Volume 5. And wait, I need to check what the chapter is called. It's called After Them. Chapter 36. Okay, so we're still in this fight, which I feel like now I talked about many times, but it's because I keep stopping after every chapter. So we have Zoro fighting the crewmates who he beats, and then the hypnotist went after the kids and Kaya. So he needs to carry Usopp to go after them because Usopp can't walk right now, but they want to protect the kids and Kaya. And then Luffy holds off Captain Kuro while they do this. So it's like a really cool fight that I can't describe, but it looks cool. And then he uses a new like gum spear attack with his feet. It looked crazy. It was fun. So Zoro got himself up the hill and is now going into the forest because the hypnotist, it was the last thing that happened in this chapter, found the kids and Kaya. So hopefully they will be there in time. Usopp really turning out to be a great guy. Like, at first I was like, he's annoying, and now I love him. So there's that. Now it is chapter 37, Captain Kuro of the 1,000 Plants. This was a fun one. So they're fighting, and then the crew members of Captain Kuro is cheering on him. I keep calling him Captain Kuro. He doesn't like that because he just said, you can't call me by that name anymore. You're ruining my 3-year plan, which was basically, we're getting a flashback that he was tired of being a pirate. He was tired of being hunted and like being on the run all the time and all the work, so he just wanted to settle down. So he killed the whole crew of like the navy and hypnotized one of them to say that he was Captain Kuro, and the other one that captured him, and then they went off. Super easy. So like Captain Kuro would die, and then he like settled in, you know, in the mansion and all that, as we know, because he wanted to settle down and be at peace. And that now Luffy is ruining his 3-year plan, and he does not stray off course, and he always is successful in his plans. However, at the same time, right before that, Captain Kuro had managed to like stand on Luffy's arm and kind of punch him in the face, so his like lip broke. And then like he told the story, and then afterwards they are fighting, and then he says, oh, your ability is really just to stretch, that's all you can do. And Luffy's like, no, I've been trained to be a pirate, and you saying your plan is elaborate? Mine is so much more than that. And then he uses a stone to like break the nails, the long nails he had, the long Wolverine nails he had. And I was like, ooh. And the crew members obviously got shocked as well. However, when Luffy talks about his plan, I don't know if he actually has an elaborate plan other than he wants to be the pirate king. Or like if he's smarter than we think, or if he's like the idiot that like is shown, the naive idiot that we are shown. Or does he actually have an elaborate plan? I don't know. Like I feel like I'm tricked by him, where I feel like either we're being tricked or he's actually that big of an idiot, and I don't know. I say idiot with love, by the way. It's making me think. So, yeah, he has a bigger plan, and Kuro's in his way. Either way, chapter 38, Pirate Crew. Okay, so first we see Kaya. He's trying to hypnotize her, and then he can't do it because she is, like, not opening her eyes. And then the kids pretended to be hypnotized. They were, like, asleep, but then attacks him and, like, takes shits in his eyes and run away. So they are still running around there. Then we have the captain with Luffy. Luffy is like, you don't even seem like a real pirate. This is not your style. You're gonna lose. And then the captain is like, oh, but I will show you how you can be a real pirate. And earlier they talked about attack he has, which is like out of the bag attack, where he turns invisible. And then everyone just gets attacked and dies, like cut open. But you can't really see him. And then this happens, and like the crew is there, is always there being attacked. But he just admitted right before this that he was planning to kill all of the crew anyway, because none that knew his real identity could survive. So they just found out that he was going to kill them, and they were just like, oh, what? And shocked about it, obviously. But now they're all dying, and Luffy's very upset because he's like, don't you care about your own crew? So yeah, that's where that chapter ended. Now it is chapter 39, For Whom the Bell Tolls. Okay, the two fights are still happening at once. So we have Kaya, who is with the hypnotist, who almost kills the kids. And then to protect them, she does like make the will and stuff. And then just as he signed it, he's gonna kill her, or else, you know, the will wouldn't matter. And then we see Zoro and Usopp arriving like far away in the woods. And then he throws like a, what's it called? Like, you know, when you have a stone in like a thing. I don't know what it is called right now. I don't know the word. You use rubber and then it bounces off. Whatever, it doesn't matter. And then we switch over to Luffy and the captain's still fighting. And now the crew members is cheering for Luffy because if he wins, that means that they are not gonna die. And then he stretches his head all the way over to them. It's like, who said you can cheer for me? I'm still gonna get you guys. And it looks crazy. And then he and the captain are still like fighting, because the captain is very mad that his plan is failing. And then also the thing that Usopp shot out is like an explosive thing. So they like being attacked there. Yeah, so it's two like parallel things. So now it's chapter 40, Usopp's private crew, which are the small kids. And maybe Kaya. Okay, so apparently like that last shot I saw in the end was like the end of the fight. Because as the new chapter began, the people were defeated. The hypnotist and the captain, they're defeated, they're gone. He threw them out in the sea and they're away. And then they decide, or Usopp decides, that they're not going to tell the village of what happened. And people are like, what? They should believe what you did. But he doesn't want to ruin the peace of the village. He just wanted to be another one of his lies. And I'm like, dang. Okay, make me cry. Either way, after this, he has decided to leave the village and go out to become a real pirate on his own. Not even joining Luffy's crew, but okay. So he disbands Usopp Pirates and the three small kids start to cry, and I want to cry a bit too. And yeah, that's the chapter. So now we have chapter 41, To the Sea again. Is this how everything is gonna be? Stopping at each island and defeating someone? Because I love it. It's funny. But I do think that it's probably not, but right now it is, and it's interesting. I really like the setup, and yeah. This was so sad. I mean, like, not the saddest ever, but I was like, dang. So, Usopp did join the crew. I didn't expect him to. I just assumed in my head we were only Nami and Zoro and Luffy, but apparently Usopp has joined. If it would be there 400 volumes, we shall see. But he joined. They got a ship from Kaya. It is huge, enormous, really beautiful ship. Stocked with everything they need. That is good, because they were worrying me earlier when they were traveling. And then we got a background story from one of the servants of Kaya saying why Usopp started to yell that pirates are coming. Because as we know, his father is like in Shank's crew, and I don't remember his name right now. It was not Usopp, it was something else. And his mother was dying. And then he came in yelling to her that the pirate was here and that his father was coming back so that she would get better because she was sick, and like that could like perk you up. And then he just kept doing it, hoping that his father would come. And then obviously it just came like a hope thing for him. And I was like, okay. Make me cry. There was something about Kaya, I mean, that she lied about so that he would go. I didn't really get it. Something. Either way, now it is chapter 42, Yosaku and Johnny. Who is that? I guess we will find out. I love them. Either way. So in this one, they are like figuring out their new ship. Luffy suggests that they actually need a musician for the crew, and everyone is like, no. But they figured out that Usopp is the sharpshooter. So they also made an emblem for the ship, which is, you know, the skull mask thing. Skull mask. Skull face that pirates use, but with a straw hat. And obviously I see this before, but like now that I know, you know, that he uses straw hat and all that, it makes more sense. I just seen it, but I didn't really like know why. I don't know how to explain it. But the test use a cannon that I have on ship, obviously, because I never tested one before, and hit a rock and is very excited. Next moment, they're being attacked by a dude with a sword, who is a bounty hunter, and his partner was really sick, and they were wrestling on a rock that just hit. And Zoro knows them, and then it turns out that their partner was sick, was just like dying of nutrition, and Nami knows how to fix this really easily, and they're all like, oh my god, you're really a woman. And she's like, this is something you should know to travel the seas. She's like the brains of this operation, I'm telling you. Now they realize they have lots of food on the ship, but no, cook. So they're gonna go out to find a cook, and they're going to this, I was gonna say, restaurant that is on the sea, which I assume is on the ship or something. So they're gonna look for that and hire a cook from there, which I'm sure is gonna turn interesting. And the two bounty hunters that land on the ship was Yosaku and Johnny, who are like partners. And they are really shocked that Zoro is now a pirate, since he was also a bounty pirate hunter. So yeah, now we're gonna see if they can find this restaurant. Okay, a lot of things happen in this chapter. I don't think I said it was chapter Sanji. So they find the restaurant at once. I never know with One Piece when they say they're going somewhere. I assume that it could take 10 chapters or it could take half a page. They found the restaurant at once. There's also a Navy ship there. And on this Navy ship, they have Lieutenant Iron Fist Full Body, who is going there to dine. So they have a little, like, what's it called? Stall out. Not stall out. Like, they talk and they're like, ooh, with each other. And then I think they shot the cannon at them. And then Luffy captures the cannon with Gum Gum Balloon. But he shoots the cannon instead of back at the ship. He shoots it at the restaurant and shoots a hole in the restaurant. And then the cooks there say that he can pay back this by working a full year without pay. But I don't think that's gonna happen. Then at the same time we are in the dining hall where Iron Fist is eating. And then he is complaining because there's a fly in the soup, and then he's mad because like Sanji, who's like the restaurant, what to say, owner, manager, whatever. Well, he is having a little swim in the soup, haha, and laughs. And then Arthur gets like super mad and like smashes the table and everything. And then it's just like, how dare you treat me like this? I'm the customer. And then in the next moment, Sanji has beaten Arthur raw because he's just like, how dare you challenge me at sea? So he was super badass. So I hope Sanji don't screw. He was really cool. We shall see. We also got to meet a cook without a foot. He also had a name, Chap. See how this conflict plays out. And I love that I just said I'm just gonna go from island to island and meet like a pirate captain and defeat them. No, literally something else is happening. So that's a bit funny. Again, there was a lot of characters and different things happening in this chapter. The basics is that there was different fights in the restaurant where these really like cooks were actually really badass and turned out to be fighters. And then the Navy officer is getting beat up. We have like one cook coming in, be like the customers, everything, and then one of the crew members of the Navy comes in and say that a pirate has escaped that they had in their like ship. And then it turns out he's on another table, and then the cook that just said that customers was everything asks him if he can pay, and then he's like has a gun and is like, do you take lead? And then you expect, you know, the cook to be like super scared because this like this feared captain here. I thought that actually we were gonna have a like extended fight with him. We did not, because the dude literally just like, he was called Paddy Cook, just like beats him, and then he leaves the place, even though like he was a feared pirate. And then outside we have Sanji who gives him some food. And then Luffy sees this and it's like, I found my cook. So I really hope Sanji joins the crew now because I really liked him. He smokes and he's badass. And I don't know, apparently I have a weak spot for cooks, we shall see. So the Paddy Cook said that customers for everything, but only customers that can pay counts. So it's a bit funny. Then we have now finished actually volume 5. So we're going into volume 6, which is called the chapter 45, which is called Before the Storm. Okay, so the pirate that Sanji said was not the captain. It was just like a crew member of this Craig captain. And he actually escaped because Sanji helped him and escaped on this brig thing. And now we saw him in the end of this chapter telling Craig where they are. Either way, going back to Luffy, he says he's going to work for a day. I don't know if this is going to work out, but he's terrible. He's a terrible worker. Sanji declined joining him, but he's like, gonna change his mind, I have a feeling. But now Zoro and the others are sitting in the restaurant and it's gonna eat, and then Luffy's not happy about this. Then Sanji sees Nami, goes over to sing to her, and like the lead cook saw this and was just like, go out and be a pirate if that's what you really want. Because he's just a chore boy, and now Luffy's also a chore boy, so maybe he would just fall in love with Nami. We shall see. I think maybe this Craig captain pirate dude is gonna come and then there's gonna be a fight and then Sanji will join them. That's what I hope will happen, at least. But we got a crew member from every stop and we couldn't keep the dog. I mean, I guess from that stop we got Nami, which makes sense. But I also want a dog. Okay, so basically Sanji just flirts a lot with Nami and gives her free stuff while like being super crappy to others. The chef wants to fire him, but he says you can't deny me cooking here. So he makes good food, but he's like terrible customer service dude. same deal. And then we skip 2 days, and the captain arrives, Don Craig, with a really wrecked ship. The pirate captain, by the way. And then they're just like, he's starving and then groveling for food. The people in the restaurant says like, don't give him food. He's gonna be like super powerful and like take over the restaurant, and don't give him food. And then Sanji does it. Just like he did earlier with his crew member. And then he's just like, oh, this is a nice restaurant. Thanks for the meal. I'm gonna take over now. Because he got his strike back by getting food. I don't know, Sanji, what he's doing, but I don't know if he's a good guy or not. It's confusing. Because obviously he's the good guy, but like, it was just interesting giving food anyway. Obviously that's the humane thing to do, but like, he was like, he's evil. So I don't know. Either way, yes, they were all starving. Like, maybe they were all in a bad place, and that's why he was gonna lead them to the restaurant. Makes maybe sense. I don't know. But now it's chapter 47, the Don's offer. Okay, so Captain Craig demands that they make food for his crew of 100 men that are still alive because they're like out starving, etc. And then Sanji goes off to do this, and all the other chefs like take up their guns on him, and it's like, you're a traitor, we can't feed them, they're gonna take over. And he's just like, but I don't judge who comes in there, I just give them food, that is my job. But then they are just like, but we are gonna fight for the restaurant. So one of them like shoots a huge cannon at the captain, but he survives because he has like really fancy armor or whatever, and then has like small, what's it called, bullets coming out of him. And then Chef Seth shows up, who used to be, I think, a cook on a pirate crew, and Craig knows who he is and brings a huge bag of food and says, here is food for your crew. And they're all like, oh my god, but then he's gonna attack us. But then he's like, no, he won't, unless they're cowards, because apparently they tried to get to the Grand Line, but then were too scared, or maybe they met the typhoon. I mean, I guess the typhoon is what you will meet when you go into the Grand Line, so then they ran back instead of continuing maybe. And they were all like, oh, super shocked that Chef said this, etc. So he called the captain a coward, and we should see how that goes. Okay, chapter 48, they're clear. So we found out that when Greg's ship was going into the Grand Line, they were destroyed after like 7 days, and apparently they were destroyed by one man, but we don't know who or what. Someone with Hawkeyes. I assume we're gonna see them later. Yes, so Chef Seth has been to the Grand Line and has survived, because he used to be a pirate, as I said, and he has a logbook of when he was there. And then now Greg, whatever his name is, Krieg is his name actually, wants it, and he doesn't want to give it up. He wants the ship and he wants the logbook, and everyone else can leave, but they're not gonna leave. They're gonna fight. He's now giving the food to his crewmates. He had 5,000 men fighting for him, and now has 100 left alive, and they're gonna come back, but they are gonna fight, and Luffy's gonna stand with them. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. So now it's chapter 49, Storm. I'm not even sure what happened in this one, but basically all the pirates were fed, and now we heard a battle cry, and then they're gonna go in to take the cooks, but then their whole shifts like tilts. I don't even know which ship tilted. Was it the fish restaurant? I think it was like the ship the pirates were on, like it got destroyed. Yes, it was the ship pirates were on. And when this happened, it looked like Luffy's ship was like taken, but it wasn't. So we had the two brothers, Yosaku and Johnny, jumping off. We see them swimming, but they all like, oh my god, where's Nami? Oh my god, she died. And then they mourn her, but then they tell them that she took off with the ship and the treasure. So she is alive with the ship, but the ship is good, it's not destroyed. Yay. And then they said like, oh my god, he is here. And then the chapter ends. Is that Hawkeye? Because they said that the dude that attacked them was Hawkeye, so maybe he followed them from the Grand Line. I don't know. But the chapter is called Parting of Ways in chapter 50. Who's parting? I don't like that. I don't want to part. They need to always stay together. Okay, so Nami is running off with her ship, and Luffy's like, you guys, like Usopp, Zoro, and the two brothers needs to go after her with their ship, and they are about to, but then Hawkeye shows up, and Zoro wants to challenge Hawkeye, because Hawkeye is known to be the best swordsman in the world, and if he beats him, he will be the best swordsman in the world. And as we know, that is Zoro's dream and promise. And then we just see Nami going off with her ship and be like, oh my god, it was a nice time. Nami, dang it. And Hawkeye was the one that like cut the ship in two. That was why it fell apart, because he's just like super good with his sword. So yeah, I guess we're gonna have a duel. I actually don't know. Things are happening not in all how I thought it will happen. It's chaos. Nami's getting away. We shall see how it plays out. But Hawkeye managed to beat like 5 ships and all of Craig's crew. So if Zoro beats him, does that mean that he's like, I don't know. But yeah, it's few chapters left of this one now. So we're on chapter 51, Zolo Overboard. I don't like the sound of that at all. Also to add that Nami was looking at this bounty list really thoroughly. It seems like she knows someone on this list because she also talked earlier about how pirates always betrays people. So I assume that she may be like her father, someone she knows is on that list, and that's why she's leaving to go after them. That's what I assume, but we shall see if that is true. And the others were also like, oh, we don't bother going after her. But Luffy was very insistent that Nami needs to be on a crew. Even though she's kind of disloyal, but also, doesn't he want his ship? I don't know, what pirate doesn't want to keep his ship? We shall see, we shall see. Okay. Continue. I don't like this chapter. So Zoro's dueling Hawkeye, and Hawkeye's like literally fighting him with like a toothpick, like this big of a dagger, and he's holding it off with like 3 swords, obviously. And Zoro realizes he's gonna lose, and he would rather die than give up, because like his dream, everything would be for nothing if he doesn't fight now. And then he keeps fighting, and he's obviously being defeated. He uses like a secret trick, but it doesn't seem to work. It's not going well. I think he even broke one of his swords. Hawkeye seemed impressed by him, but the difference in fighting, my heart hurt, because like we've seen him being so badass for such a long time. And obviously they're more powerful people. It's always like a power balance in manga in general. Like you think they're powerful, but then there are more people powerful, and then they later learn to be as powerful, etc, etc, etc. Okay, so chapter 52, the oath. What oath, huh? The oath to one day beat him? We shall see, we shall see. Zoro loses but doesn't die, because Hawkeye was impressed by him and let him live, and then tells him that he should keep getting better until one day he can beat him on the top, and he hopes to see him again. And Zoro promises that he's not gonna be defeated ever again until he meets him again and can become the greatest woman. And my heart, I love stuff like this, because obviously I know it's a long journey ahead, so I think, and I hope we will get to see this moment, and I'm going to be waiting. He says that Luffy and Zoro seems like a good team, and that's my heart as well. And now the Captain Greg didn't want Hawkeye to leave because he was leaving, because now he had enough fun, but then I think he just disappeared. And now it seems like Luffy is going to go after Nami, but first he's going to help chase off the pirates, so he doesn't need to be chore boy anymore. And hopefully Sanji will join them. So now it's chapter 53, Mackrell had, and I think it's the last chapter in this one. What a place to end the story where I didn't even get to see the end of the fight. Obviously it's because they're split in like the arcs and stuff, but yeah, either way. So what happened is that Luffy uses an attack which, I was gonna say, rockets him over to the pirate ship, but he like beats a lot of them out of the way. But now he's just holding onto the rig for their life, because obviously he can't fall into the water, because then he sinks and drowns, because you know they can't swim. And then the pirates uses the like ship they're on, the restaurant, they can take off the head because it's shaped like a fish, and that attacks the pirate ship, and they now just want the ship even more because this is really smart. Then at the same time, that part of the ship is almost lands at the restaurant instead, because like it's flying, stuff is flying, okay, but then Sanji kicks it poof with his foot, and then he manages to not land on the restaurant, and they're all very impressed by this, and then it flies off with one kick, hey, you see him, and then it literally ends, so we don't get to see where it lands. And yeah, they're gonna attack the cooks, and that's how it goes. So I guess the next one is gonna continue this little fight, and I hope Sanji joins the crew. Also, Nami is still off, so we need to capture her as well. But yeah, that was volume 4, 5, and 6. It's maybe a weird place to end, which is why I guess people do full arcs. But this is just how I did Berserker stuff, so I might change it in the future. But yeah, I'm really, really enjoying myself. We had some really great moments with the characters in this one. I love that Usopp is with them. I really like the Sanji character. Hope he joins them. I think they're just literally gonna catch up with Nami in 1 second and be like, why did he go off? And she's gonna be like, hey, or something. Or might develop into like a further story. We're sad to see Zoro defeated, but also I know it's gonna be okay. So it's that. And I'm excited for the future and what it will hold. And again, thank you so much for watching and joining my One Piece journey. Leave a fish emoji down below if you enjoy this, and you should see me soon in a new video. Thank you so much for watching this. Bye.